right here, you're free. Right here, there's no problems. Right here, there is intimacy, there is love. It's just been forgotten because there's been an identification with the body. There has been repetitive thoughts, which has given particular emotions in the body, which are located in the chakra centers. So if you feel like you're not worthy, then there'll be a repetition of that story. When you come into contact with things, you'll always be imagining a person that's not worthy, but you might not even be conscious of it. You might only be conscious of putting other people down, saying they are unworthy. But really what you're feeling deep down at the bottom is you aren't worthy of being alive, or you aren't worthy of being in relationship with someone. And if you keep repetitively telling yourself that story, then all these thoughts going backwards and forwards in time are going to keep trying to validate it and get away from it because it feels uncomfortable. And then there's this aching in the heart, this discomfort in the heart. And this happens in all the chakra centers because there's all these beliefs that you believe and repeat and repeat and repeat. And that creates this illusion of you. And they're uncomfortable. So the chakras go off balance and are all uncomfortable. And then you seek to try to rectify that in time, to try to find a solution to it in time. And you never will, because what you look for is always here. They're uncomfortable because of all these thoughts that go into time. And then you're trying to get away from your own discomfort that you've created. It's not even that you've created it on purpose. You didn't sit down one day and pull out a piece of paper and be like, "Dear God, I would like to suffer today." It just happened. It just appeared, these thoughts and these impulses, and they get very complicated. So every time you're going to work, you might be telling yourself you're not worthy, or bad things are going to happen to you. And then your chakra begins to hurt. So bad things are going to happen to you, would most probably be fearful and in the sacral chakra, and you're not good enough will be in your heart, and then your thoughts will be trying to rectify that. So your thoughts will be telling how you're better than other people, or how it's other people's fault, or how you hate your boss, or all these types of stories. So you're constantly living in this imagination of you that's being recreated all the time, this story of you. And then you try to seek to find comfort in it. But then as you get older and older, you just become more and more tight and more uncomfortable, and you begin to live in your head, and life feels cut off and dead because you feel separate and you feel like you're somebody inside the body, and all your chakras are telling you there's a problem. There is a problem. Meow, meow, meow. Alarm. Beep, 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 beep. Back up. Burp, 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 burp. Ooh. And so then, after all of that's happened, you come to non-duality, and then you think, what? This moment, that's it, this moment. God, give me some intellect. I want something better. I want something to imagine that's really great in the future. I want to imagine arriving. I want to imagine walking through walls or going back in time or something really extraordinary. And then the teacher in non-duality will be like, it's this moment. You're like, I'm not going to spit on my computer. This moment. Who wants this moment? But the only reason you don't want this moment is because all your chakras are like, because for years you've been telling yourself you're shit, or the world's shit, or bad things are going to happen, or you don't like this, or these people are like that, or those people are like that, and you've been moaning and bitching about the world and dreaming of something other than what you're experiencing, believing that everything else is better than your current experience. So of course you're uncomfortable. Of course you are. Of course you're uncomfortable. Who wouldn't be with all of that? And it's not your fault. Even the idea of fault is just a concept, and we can completely deconstruct the idea of blame, thought, fault, guilt, shame, pride, doership, choice. All of that can be deconstructed, and you can see that it's something we made up as humans, and it's not actually true. It's a way in which we communicate and in which we evolve and in which we create complex societies, but it's not the reality of what's happening. The reality of what's happening is this moment, and this moment is unknowable and mysterious and wondrous. We don't know what this moment is. It's really freaking amazing that we're here and there is this moment, that's really something. It's really unknowable. Nobody can tell us why we're here or why we're alive. We could talk about economics, we can talk about philosophy, we could talk about the future, we could talk about the world, we can talk about quantum physics and fractals and the string theory and chaos theory, God and Sufism and Buddhism. And then when everybody's like, so why are we alive? Everyone's like, the point of life is to be good. Well, that's got nothing to do with human evolution, has it? To be good. That's very convenient for society, that we've got to be good and then we're going to be judged and we're going to go to either heaven or hell. Actually, there is no questions here. In this moment, there is no questions. Questions only come with you and in time and in past and future. Right here, there's no questions. This moment is free of questions. It knows everything. It's complete. And it has no fear about its mystery or its wonder. In fact, it's in love with its wonder and mystery. Isn't it really miraculous that we're here? And maybe you can touch that, so maybe there's like a bypassing of all the discomfort in the body, and when I speak about this moment, or when a teacher speaks about this moment on non-duality, there is a resonance, there's a knowing that something beyond you, there's something that's been here that exists prior to you. You came after, like you were born and you hadn't even thought about you hadn't even been given your name, you didn't know anything, and yet there was this life, this presence, this aliveness, this vibrance. And when you've been really drunk and completely forgotten about yourself and your life and what you do or what you don't do, there's still this life and this presence. And if you've bumped your head and had memory loss, or there's still this consciousness of everything, this experiencing that's happening. And your story is always changing about you. So this you that you think's experiencing is always changing. Like one day you're hip, one day you're uncool, one day you're old, one day you're young, one day you're a mother, one day you're a father or a grandparent. It's always changing, this interpretation. You're good, you're bad, you're indifferent, you're grumpy, you're moody, you're happy. And when you're in all of these states, you always retell the stories of you slightly differently, dependent on your current feeling. You see yourself differently. If you're in a good mood, you see yourself as successful. In a bad mood, you're like, oh, I'm a freaking failure. Here we are. This is it. This is the celebration. Your mind's like, she means something else. She means something else. This is it when my chakras are balanced. This is it when something happens. It is something happening in a way. It's collapsing into this moment. It's a surrendering into this moment. The me is always like trying to like beat this moment. It's like trying to beat time, like boop, 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 boop. I've got to be faster than time. I've got to get it before it gets me. I've got to get into the future before the past gets me, or before this moment gets me. And I mean, the body's going to die. You're going to be got at some point.